Good morning. It's Sunday, December 1st. Thank you for joining us for News 8 this week. This past week, Congresswoman Miller-Meeks toured FCI Thompson in Illinois to discuss legislation she's introduced. The bill, called the Corrections Officer Blake Schwartz Suicide Prevention Act, would provide funding to prisons to carry out mental health screenings and provide referrals to mental health care for corrections officers. Miller-Meeks says the bill is named after a corrections officer at Thompson who died by suicide last year. We talked with Miller-Meeks about why she hopes this will encourage people to reach out for help if they need it.
Last year in 2023, I was approached by another congressperson, another representative from another state on the other side of the aisle, a Democrat, who wanted me to do a bill looking at mental health issues for inmates or for prisoners. The bill made sense. It was good policy. But through that discussion, I said, well, what about correctional officers? So I happen to have a brother who, after leaving the Army, went into the Secret Service. And then when he retired from the Secret Service, joined the LAPD and then did work in correctional facilities. So I have some small, personal interest in this, but more it was just talking with correctional officers, talking with law enforcement in general, and what was happening with morale, and then found out that within our federal prison system or among correctional officers, the suicide rate is extremely high. It's about 7 times what it is in the general population. And so building on the work we had done in the military, so as a veteran on the Veterans Affairs Committee and working with the House Armed Services Committee, we had put forth legislation looking at no wrong door military. If you're active duty military, you can approach your commander and you can say that you think you're having mental health issues and that it wouldn't impact your ability for promotion or on your evaluation report. So this was, to me, very similar to that, learning what I learned from correctional officers. Also, sometimes the staffing is not where the staffing needs to be, so you're working overtime. So then you're doubly exposed to those challenges that occur within a correctional facility. So this was an offshoot of that. And then we also had interactions with John Zumker, who is the government relations person for the Thompson Federal Prison. So that got the ball rolling from a bill that was meant for one part of the population to a separate bill that turned out to be the Blake Schwartz Suicide Prevention Act.
Can you talk about what this bill would do and how it would work and maybe how it's different than maybe what the resources that are currently available are?
So there are resources, but if you'll think about people that go into law enforcement, there are a lot of people in law enforcement that are former military. And so it's a similar dynamic in the military as it is in law enforcement and correctional facilities, where you're afraid or concerned that if you communicate that you have feelings of depression or anxiety, or that the workload and the types of things that you're seeing are impacting your life at home and your general feeling of wellness, that you're afraid to communicate, or you think that you will be negatively impacted in that regard. And so this is very similar to that, which says that we're going to make sure that resources are available. We're going to make sure screening is available and that people don't have to feel that there is a weakness or that they're not able to do their job or that they're going to be impacted, either fired and or not promoted if they seek help or counseling for brain health, behavioral health issues. We don't want to see law enforcement officers or correctional officers with substance abuse, just like in our military. We don't want to see substance abuse problems go unaddressed or people to go down that pathway to take care of feelings of anxiety or depression or, sometimes overwhelming given the types of things that they're facing. And this is both male and female correctional officers. This particular bill happens to be named after Blake Schwartz, who committed suicide in 2023.
Can you talk a little bit about the conversation that you had with his wife just recently, and what did what can you share and what did you learn?
Well, it's heart-wrenching. And I think, many of us throughout the course of our lifetimes have life events and circumstances that come at us, and people may contemplate suicide or ending their lives, or they're in a depression, which either through assistance and medication that they find that it's difficult to overcome, and sometimes very difficult to share with your families because family members take it as though that you're unhappy with them or angry at them. And so it was a very heartbreaking conversation with his wife, who is a lovely person, who is a nurse who was also at that time working in the prison. They were looking forward to, they just found out that they were pregnant with the impending birth of their first child, and he'd always wanted to be a father. It was one of his life's goals. But he had expressed, feelings of, not wanting to seek out, not wanting people to know that he was struggling. He was the go-to person for other correctional officers when they were having issues and problems. And to see so much promise, it was just heartbreaking to speak with her and then to speak with other correctional officers. And we have a system that, one, we want to rehabilitate people who commit crimes. We want to be able to see them get on a pathway where they're productive citizens. But we also have to take care of those individuals that we're asking to do the very hard job of, keeping us safe in society and communities. And this prison happens to be in a very remote area, so it's difficult to find all of the resources that you need. So one way is to make sure the culture accepts the fact that there are issues, there are struggles, and that you're not going to be penalized, you're not going to be thought that you're weak if you turn around and you want to seek counseling or assistance.
What work do you still need to do to get the support of other members of Congress for this?
So we're actively, seeking the support of other members of Congress. We know there's only a very short window where we could get this. It's possible it could be attached to another bill to be able to go through this year. But sometimes you have to introduce a bill to start getting the momentum to get it passed. And so if it doesn't pass this year, we'll reintroduce it into the next Congress, the next term. But this is definitely something we'll pursue. So we have, they're kind of dual bills, one that's looking at inmates, prisoners, those who commit crimes, but also very importantly, looking at those in law enforcement, in correctional facilities and their families, and how we can help them to navigate through some extraordinarily difficult circumstances.
You'll obviously have a majority in the next House here, but are you anticipating getting some Democratic support on this as well?
Absolutely, we'll be getting Democrat support on this bill. It is something that there is support for. So it's just getting the members to support, and then getting also judiciary involved in it so that they can help to promote this bill and get it across the finish line.
All right, very good. Always good information. Congresswoman, always a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you so much, John, and I just want to wish you and everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you. Thank you.